I know that the winter is cold, but the spring will come. Stay strong. I know you will. Slava Ukraini.
Дякуємо.
In yet another self-inflicted disaster, Russian forces turned their own air defense system against themselves on January 31st, 2026, near Velika Novosilka in Ukraine's Donetsk region. During operation of a Buk M2 missile launcher, one missile veered wildly off course and slammed into a vehicle storage warehouse of the 1,461st Motor Rifle Regiment. The strike wounded 2 Russian soldiers and torched 2 UAZ vehicles, exposing the perils of rushed deployments and poor training with finicky Soviet-era tech. Russians did it again, killing their own troops in a preventable blunder that reeks of incompetence amid the grinding Donetsk stalemate. No official Kremlin admission yet, but the pattern of friendly fire mishaps continues to bleed their forces dry. In a stunning display of drone supremacy, Ukrainian FPV operators obliterated a Russian sabotage squad near Pokrovsk, thwarting a brazen attempt to snatch prisoners and seize ground. The drama unfolded during a fierce Russian assault on a Ukrainian observation post, where 4 troops were initially captured amid the chaos of close-quarters combat. Swift aerial reconnaissance spotted the infiltrators dragging captives through contested terrain, triggering a rapid FPV drone swarm response. Kamikaze drones zeroed in with deadly precision, shredding the saboteurs and halting their advance cold, preventing a larger catastrophe in this vital Donetsk rail hub under relentless pressure. This FPV victory underscores Ukraine's growing edge in low-cost, high-impact tech against Russia's manpower-heavy tactics, saving lives and holding the line. Igor Strelkov-Gherkin is once again gloomy about Russia's prospects in Ukraine. He advises against trying to placate Trump with brief semi-ceasefires and warns that it will all end like with Milosevic, apparently anticipating Putin going on trial for war crimes. Gherkin writes from his jail cell, "It is very interesting to observe how, at a demand disguised as a request from Trump, we are ceasing military operations against an enemy that has no intention of ceasing military operations against us. The war is already ending its 4th year, and we are still trying to play a game of chance. God knows how many people have been killed. The casualty figures are simply enormous, judging by everything, and yet we are still following the requests of those who supply our enemies with shells, missiles, and bombs that rain down on the heads of our soldiers and civilians. What our leadership is counting on, frankly, I don't quite understand. Forgiveness? There won't be any. Reconciliation? There won't be any. It will all end like with Milosevic. That's now completely obvious. The enemy is simply stupidly stalling for time, counting on winning a war of attrition, and that's it." White House Press Secretary Leavitt stated that Trump showed no surprise regarding Russia's latest attack on Ukraine.
Now.
President Trump was talking yesterday about how President Putin had agreed to a week-long halt on attacks on Ukraine because of the cold weather. But today we've seen that Russia has launched some of the heaviest attacks this month. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, I spoke with the president about it this morning, and his reaction was unfortunately unsurprised. These are 2 countries who have been engaged in a very brutal war for several years, a war that would have never started if the president were still in office. It started because of the weakness and incompetence of the previous president, Joe Biden.
U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham has called on Trump to immediately provide Ukraine with long-range Tomahawk missiles, stating that the pressure the United States is currently exerting on Russia is obviously not working. Clearly, the pressure we're applying to Putin to come to the peace table and stop massive attacks against Ukraine is not working. President Trump's idea of going after Putin's oil customers who prop up his war machine should be pursued with vigor by the U.S. and Europe. President Trump has crippled Putin's economy by going after oil companies and refineries. Tariffs on India is a good example of how things can change. India is now buying dramatically less Russian oil, and if the other large purchasers would follow suit, it would help end this bloodbath. Finally, after this massive attack last night, I would urge President Trump to start a process to provide Ukraine with Tomahawk missiles, which would be a game-changer militarily. In the coming days and weeks, we must apply more pressure to Putin. Any negotiation that is seen as overly rewarding aggression will set in motion catastrophes all over the world. The opposite is equally true. If negotiations result in a free, strong, and independent Ukraine who had to make concessions, then the world will be far more stable. Time is of the essence. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, speaking in the Ukrainian parliament in Kyiv.
Some European allies have announced that they will deploy troops to Ukraine after a deal is reached. Troops on the ground, jets in the air, ships on the Black Sea. The United States will be the backstop. Others have vowed to support in other ways. I know that the winter is cold, but the spring will come. Stay strong. I know you will. Slava Ukraini.
Dmytro, Rasty-Kanopir, an Azov fighter, about Russian captivity. Cold coming with every breath of vapor from my mouth in an apartment where it is now 5 degrees Celsius. Huge knees, swollen from the cold, bluish-purple in color. I can neither bend nor straighten them. They hurt badly, as if being twisted inside out. Rubbing and physical exercises do not help. Exertion only makes it worse. In the cell, I found a corner where I could hide from the cold draft coming from the window, but I couldn't stand there for long, because the chief would come and notice that one more person was missing. It was winter, minus 15 degrees Celsius outside. Imagine a cold 10-square-meter cell holding 8 Ukrainian soldiers. In the middle of the wall there was a large window, with finger-wide gaps around it. Beneath the window was a radiator. It was heating, but no one felt it, because there were 5 to 6 meters from the window to the door, and a draft blew across that entire distance, impossible to escape. I was freezing terribly, and the cold was a more frightening enemy to me than the risk of being beaten in the morning. So sometimes I dared to take a padded jacket at night and cover my legs with it or lay it under myself. That gave me a chance to slightly straighten my knees by morning. And today it seems to me that what is being done to Ukraine's civilian population is the same kind of horrific torture by cold that I myself had to endure. How Ukrainians are surviving this winter. Russian attacks on our energy infrastructure during a bitterly cold winter hit the most vulnerable the hardest.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.